Here is our final output. This might not be the most perfect interface, but it does the job. On top left, we have the 3D objects here. You can load any 3D objects. I used one from my older projects. And of course, we need a flat floor. And you see those dots, it means like it detected a flat floor. So when you don't see those dots, try to find a flat floor. This might not be the most perfect flat floor, but we are just here trying to test our app. So when you click on the screen, you will load the 3D object. As you can see here, you can control it, you can rotate it like this. This one is a little bit big, but let's try to rotate it. I'm using one hand, so it's a little bit hard. Yeah, so here is our 3D object. Here is our 3D model without texture. So you can rotate it, you can see it like this, very beautiful. So yeah, this is the final output of our app today.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to build an augmented reality model viewer using Expo. This app will let users select different 3D models and view them in augmented reality. So let's dive into the code, but before we start, we have to install this library called React Native AR, which we'll be using today. And for this, it's simply you can do npm install React Native AR viewer, and then do not forget to include this into your Android manifest.xml, this part right here. And make sure you have your tag contains this line, this piece of code right here. So if you go to Android manifest.xml, you could include it right here. So yeah, exactly right here. So make sure it's included, otherwise you'll be facing some issues. This is for Android. Of course, for iOS it has its own configuration. You just need to follow this, and everything will be good for the installation. And yeah, another thing, we will be using another library, have to install it, which is React Native FS, to manage our files later. And yeah, so the first thing we usually do in any project is to call our libraries. So the first thing I'll be doing here is I'll change this like this, and then I'll need a couple of other things. We'll be needing okay, let's open this. We need style sheet for styling our components. We need view as our container component. We need platform to detect if we are on iOS or Android. Of course, it has a lot of other usage, but we'll be using this to detect whether our device is Android or iOS. Text for displaying text, and scroll view for the horizontal scrollable model selector. It's also vertical, so image to show model thumbnails, activity indicator as our landing spinner, and touchable opacity for touchable buttons. All of these will be imported from React Native. The next step is we need to import the AR library. For this, okay, it's better to copy and paste this to avoid any typos. If I go take this, and I'll copy it right here. Then we need a React Native file system. We will use React Native FS to download and store our 3D models locally. Import RNFS from React Native FS. And before our component we define a TypeScript interface, and this will describe what a model object looks like. It has a name, a URL where we can download it, and an image for the thumbnail. You can skip this part if you want to just load the models locally, so it's up to you. Model name, it's string. We need URL, string, and image. Well, we'll choose any for the moment. Good. So now let's look at our main component. It will be a functional component, as you can see right here, and our first state will be working with state. So our first state variable stores the local file path where the downloaded model is saved. So we'll come here and I'll type const local model path, and thanks for the autocomplete. Okay, let me check. React useState string null, perfect. And then we need a boolean that tracks whether we are currently loading a model or not. So for this we need is loading, well guessed, React useState boolean, and is false, perfect. Okay, the next step, we will define an array of all available models. And you'll notice that we won't be providing a setter function because this list never changes. This is in my case for this YouTube. Of course, it depends on your needings. You could do other things. As each model here has three properties: a name, a URL pointing to the GLB file. You will be loading GLB file, and a local image for the thumbnail. We have 4 different models. For this, I'll do const models and then equals React use state model, and then this. Perfect. So the first thing we need is model name. I already have a couple of 3D models here. You can use them if you want. There are a couple of tents. It was in one of my old projects. We'll be using GLB file because they are the most stable ones. There are other GLTF and this one USDZ. They're not stable. I tried them. The most stable one is GLB. So what we'll be doing is to simply copy this link, and let's first add a model name. Let's call this tent1, because these 3D models are for tents, displaying tents. URL, let's copy this, and image. For the image, you can put any image you want. I'll just put a random thing like this. You can add some images in your assets, and you can load them directly from here. So we'll be doing the same thing for another 3 or 2 models. So let's call this tent2. Here it's tent2. I'll call this here tent3, and this tent3. And let's take this GLB file, copy it as usual here, and copy this, and then let's make final one tent3, and let's paste it right here. So we finished dealing with our 3D models. As I said, you can use any more 3D models you want. Most importantly is GLB file, because I tested this, they are the most stable. If it worked, if other If other work, that's fair enough. Now we will be defining a state which tracks which model is currently selected, and we default to the first model in our array. For this, we have to do const selected model, set selected model, and we will do this. And since we will be loading the first one, and like this, perfect. Now for the most important function, loading our 3D models, we wrap this in a use callback for performance optimization. It's an async function that takes a URL and the model name. So for this, let's type load path equals react use callback. Let's type async, then model URL, it's a string, and we need the model name, it's also a string. And let's do a try and catch. So the first thing we will do is we set loading to true to show our spinner. And okay, perfect. And we will be adding a variable called file extension, a const, and this is crucial. Android uses GLB format while iOS uses USDZ, so this is why I mentioned GLB is the most stable for Android. So in case you are working, this is why we'll be also using platform OS to detect which one works for you. For my case, I'm just building on Android. If you want to build this on both OS, you have to include all the models, both GLB and USDZ, like this, like you can see in this list right here. But in my case, since I'll be testing this on an Android device, I just need the GLB file. So for this, we have to do a const file extension, let's call platform, and there is a function called OS. There are other things, version constants is Mac Catalyst, is pads, TV, and we'll be using OS. And as you can see, if it's Android, I'll be using GLB. If not, I'll be using USDZ, like this. And then we create a file path in the apps document directory with the model name and correct extension. So we need const model path. Oh, perfect matching. RNFS, document directory path, model name, file extension. Exactly what we needed. And if the file doesn't exist, we download it from the URL and save it in our local path. As I said, you can skip this part, but I'll be doing this. And we do if exists. First, we need to declare exists. And we do const exists equals await RNFS exist model path. So if it doesn't exist, in this case, we do await RNFS. We will be downloading the file. This in case it's not there. And then from URL, model URL, and to file model path, and let's not forget promise After this, let's set local model path. And let's not forget our catch. Let's type here error. Let's keep it like this. So we catch any errors and log them. For this, it will simply do console.error. And let's just type here error loading model. And then we have finally this. Then always set loading to false in the finally block. So for this we have to set is loading to false. Okay, we have a couple of like this, and perfect. Did I forget something? Okay, let me recheck. So we have set is loading false. This. So I think we didn't forget anything. It seems perfect. For this, we'll move to the other section. So next up, our use effect hook. Whenever the selected model changes, this effect runs and loads a new model. So the question mark is optional. Chaining is it safely checks if selected model exists before accessing its properties. So for this, we will be doing react.use effect, and then what we are going to do here is selected model dot URL, and we have selected model dot model name will be loading path, and you'll do selected model dot URL, selected model name. Perfect, what I needed. Then we'll close this, and let's not forget selected model and load path. So now let's look what we are rendering. Our main container with a black background that fills the screen. This is the first thing we will be working on. For this, let's just get rid of this. Let's open parentheses, and we need a view. And let's add some styling. So let's styles dot. We'll define styles later. Okay, you know what? We'll have to do it right now to avoid any issues later. So let's go down here and let's type const styles equals style sheet, and then dot create, and then like this, and that's all. Okay, now we can go back here to styles, and we can simply do should we do the styling ground? Okay, let's do the styling later. I don't want to waste some time into this. The next thing is when is loading is true, we show a centered loading spinner in a nice gold color, for example, with some text below it. This gives users a feedback that something is happening. We'll be using the classic spinner provided by React. There are other ones, but I prefer using the one afforded by React Native. So let's do view style, and then here styles. Let's name this loading container, and okay, let's not forget to close the view to avoid any issues later. And what we need is activity indicator. We'll just choose size, and for the golden color this is dark blue. I think it's, as far as I remember, it's C6 9 F68. Yep, some sort of a woody color. Next is the text. So let's just keep it like this as it's suggested. So then when we have a model and we are not loading, we show the AR view. This condition ensures we only render when the model is ready. And so let's do local model path. Loading. Oops. Like this. Okay, let me rewrite this to avoid any issues. So local model path is loading, and then we have this, and inside we'll load a view. Let's close this. I'll do some formatting later, and let's do styles.ar container, AR for augmented reality. And so the AR viewer component handles all the AR functionality. The key prop is very important. When it changes, React unmounts and remounts the component, which is necessary when switching models. We pass the local file path to the AR viewer and style it to fill the container. So these props configure the AR experience, and this is what we're doing right now. Inside AR viewer view, if you check here with the documentation, you'll see there are a lot of variables here, parameters or whatever. These are needed in order to properly display the 3D file. And these props are disabled instant placement. This requires users to find the surface first. If you played Pokemon Go, for example, whenever you want to launch the Pokemon or whatever, you need a flat floor, or you have to detect something that you'll be displaying the 3D object on it. So this is very required. And then we have light estimation, and we disable automatic lighting for this case. Manage depth, which enables depth management for realistic placement. Allow rotate, allow scale, allow translate, let users manipulate the model. And we have plane orientation, in which we detect horizontal surfaces like floors and tables and whatever. So if we start like here by writing AR view, viewer view, it's self-closing tag. So we have a couple of parameters here. First one is key, which is local model path because it's unique. And make sure do not put the same local model path here to avoid any issues. Then we have the model, which is local model path. Okay, here it's local model path, not model path. So here we have E and not A, it's a typo, sorry. And we'll define some styling, styles.ar view, good. And disable instant placement. And as I mentioned, this requires two user to find the surface first. And next we need light estimation, and we will set this to false. Yeah, sorry, I forgot to close this. Whoops. Okay. And then we have manage depth. We'll set this to true. And as I mentioned, manage depth enables depth management for realistic placement. Allow rotate. True. And as I mentioned, also allow rotate, allow scale, allow translate. Let users manipulate the model the way you want. You can rotate it back and down, left to right. So it gives you more freedom to control the 3D model. So we have then allow scale. Also set this to true. And plane orientation. Let's do horizontal and allow translate. So we finished configuring our AR viewer. Now for the model selector overlay, this is positioned absolutely at the top of the screen with a semi-transparent black background. So for this, let's come here and let's open a view. And as usual, it's perfectly closed, okay? And okay, so let's define some styling first. Oops. Let's do styles dot model selector container. And inside of this, a horizontal scroll view without the scroll indicator for a cleaner look. That's what we'll be doing. And we have a scroll view and horizontal. We also need shows horizontal scroll indicator. We have to put this to false to not display the indicator because it's a bit ugly, honestly. Content container style. This is to the style that will be applied to the scroll view. And let's do styles dot model selector content. Oops. Content. And let's open this. And the next step is we have to map through all models and check if each one is currently selected. Each model is a touchable button. When pressed, we update the selected model state. We apply also conditional styling. Selected models get additional styles. The thumbnail image is slightly larger when selected. This is to prove to the user that, okay, you are currently displaying this model. And a small gold bar appears under the selected model as a visual indicator. So the first thing we have to do, we have to loop through the models. So the first thing we do is models map, and we have model and we need index, and inside let's make a const. We call it is selected and selected model, and let's do model name equals model name. Perfect. And then let's do a return, and inside of this let's do a touchable opacity. And did I miss something? And okay, missed key. Okay, of course we have to put a key. Thought there was something wrong. Let's do key, and let's to string template here and dollar model dot model name, since model name is unique, and we also can add index. Index is enough, but you can do whatever you want. On press equals, and we have to do set selected model and tap here model, and of course we need some styling for this. We have to do styles dot model item and is selected, as I mentioned earlier. This is and selected model. Perfect. And later let's add active opacity. Let's just put 0.7 for example. Okay, and inside this touchable opacity we'll be loading an image because we want the image to be selected. So image is self-closing tag, and what we need an image, we need the model, the source, sorry, and we have image, we need style, so let's put is if it's selected, display styles dot selected model image. If not, display styles model image. Perfect. And then is selected to style indicator, and we close touchable opacity, which is closed, scroll view and everything. So this is overall the whole thing, the whole code in order to load 3D models. And yeah, so the next step we have to do is, let's quickly go through the, I think we don't need where is it? This, I think we don't need use callback, so you can just get rid of this. Yeah, we don't need it. Overall the code seems good. I don't think there is something we have to worry about in this code, but overall if something seems weird, just type a comment in the video and I'll fix it. I'll be uploading the code also, so you can check this later. And okay, the next part is we have to define our styles, which is the most boring part. So for this, I think I'll just give you the link for the project, and you can just copy and paste. I really don't want to lose a lot of time in styling. It's not the purpose of this video. Maybe we'll do another video. And yeah, and that's it. We've built a complete AR model viewer app. And okay, let's summarize what happens. You can test this, you can build the app, you can install it into your Android or iOS smartphone, and you can test it yourself. It's already tested multiple times by myself. So let's summarize what happens. The app starts and loads the first tent model. This is what we'll be doing. Then it downloads the GLB or USDZ file. This depends on your OS as mentioned here. And then once downloaded, the AR viewer displays it, and then users can scroll through the model selector at the top, as we did in scroll view here, horizontal, right here. And when they tap different model, it downloads and displays the augmented reality model. And models are cached locally, so subsequent loads are instant. And yeah, this is a great foundation for any AR app, furniture visualizer, shopping app, educational tool. You could easily extend this with more models. This is, I think, a very basic library. I mean, it doesn't have a lot of things. There are other libraries that are much more advanced. And yeah, but this is a very basic one. I think it does the job. If you want to do just displaying some augmented reality, I think this also, yeah, as you can see here, this is how it works. You can rotate. We mentioned this in the parameters. Where is it? And these ones, allow scale, allow rotate. So this is manage depth, allow rotate, allow scale, plane orientation. This is, as I said, very basic library. It just displays 3D models, but if you need something very advanced, I think there is another one called Vero, something like this. Vero React Native AR. This is a bit of it's kind of advanced compared to the previous one. As you can see here, it's a pretty advanced one. Yeah, you can even load videos or GIF. And yeah, I didn't try this honestly, but I will be trying it, and I think I will be doing a video about it. I'm really interested into trying this one. It looks very advanced and a bit creative. So yeah, but for now, what we've done is quite good. Just it does the job. And yeah, so if you have a basic app, you want to load some objects for shopping cart, if you have a shopping app and you want to load some models at 3D, you could do it. It's easy, very basic. And yeah, and of course, if you found this helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe for more React Native tutorials. As I said, we will be doing, I think the next time I'll be focusing on this part, on this library, Vero. Yeah, so thank you for watching and see you on the next video.